You tried God and didn't get what you wanted. You tried God, but you failed. There's a lot of people out here who are trusting God, and I mean trusting God for real, and they are seeing miracles take place in their lives. There are people out here who are trusting God and living by faith, and they're being healed. There are people out here who are trusting God and they're being blessed. There are people out here who are trusting God for real and they are being brought out of different trials and brought out of trouble. But then you got people who feel like they're trusting God, or they feel like they have tried God, but they failed. They feel like they have tried God and did not get the results that other people have gotten. I can tell you this off the top. There is no way you tried God and failed. There is no way you applied God's principles to your life and didn't get the results that the truth says you will get. That's not even possible. That's actually like saying I walked out in the rain and didn't get wet. There is no possible way. So, if you feel like you tried God and failed, you need to find out what you did wrong. You need to be finding out at what point were you not in the truth. At what point did you doubt God? Because it's just like if you was to go and try to get on Facebook. See, you love Facebook. And if you try to log on to Facebook and it don't work, you about to figure out what went wrong. You about to find out what you did wrong. You're not just going to say, oh, Facebook didn't work, and then you go somewhere else and sit down because you love Facebook too much. And if you loved God the way you love Facebook, you wouldn't just say God didn't work and then just go somewhere and sit down. You wouldn't just say, well, I tried God and I failed, and then you just give up. That wouldn't be the case if you loved God the way you should. If you go out and try to crank up your car because you got to go to work, if that car don't crank, you about to figure out what went wrong. If that car don't crank, you about to talk to whoever you got to talk to, and you're about to call whoever you need to call to figure out why this car is not cranking. And that's the same way we should be when it comes to the truth. That's the same way we should be when it comes to God's system. That's the same way we should be when it comes to patterning our lives after God's principles. Because there is no way God's principles work for one and don't work for another one. There is no way God will do what he said for these people, but he won't do what he said for those people. There is no way the truth works for that church, but the truth don't work for that church. There is no way possible God's principles will produce for my house, but God's principles won't produce for your house. So if you say you tried God and failed, or you tried God and God didn't do, you're automatically lying. There's a lot of people who just don't understand that God is a law. And this law that we call God will never be broken. You ain't gonna ever break this law that we call God. God works a specific way. When are you gonna realize that your way never works, but God's way always works? When are you gonna realize that your way, man's way, Satan's way, takes you nowhere, but God's way always gets people where they need to go? The way that God, this law, works is the way that this law has always worked. The way that this law works, the way that God works, is the way that God has always worked and always will work. But if you don't line your life up with this law that we call God, then you can't look to get what the next person gets when they do line their lives up with the principles of God. And when you don't do what you should, so you don't get the results that you could, you just operated the opposite side of God's law. You are living your life on the wrong side of the law. The reason you didn't get that is because the law says you can't get it doubting. And you will never break that law. The reason you didn't get the miracle is because the law says a double-minded person cannot receive anything from the Lord. You will never break that law. The reason you failed is because the law says trust God with your whole heart and lean not to your own understanding. You will never break that law. It's just like the law out here where there are speed limits that you're supposed to drive. If there's a cop sitting on the side of the road to enforce the law, if I pass by there and the speed limit is 60 and I'm doing 80, that officer is going to pull me over because the law says he has a right to pull me over for doing 80 in a 60. If you pass by there and you're doing 60 and he does not pull you over, the reason he doesn't pull you over is because of the same law. The same law that says he can pull me over is the exact same law that says he shouldn't pull you over. God's law is the same for every one of us. The same law that gets me blessed for obeying the principles is the same law that gets you cursed for not obeying the principles. The same law that causes me to see miracles in my life because I believe is the exact same law that causes you to miss miracles because you doubt. The same law that lets you get into blessings because you trust God is the exact same law that lets somebody else miss the blessing because they don't trust God. It's the same law. Which side of the law are you living on? I have accepted the truth that this law that we call God is just established. It has been established from the beginning. And there is nothing I can do to change it. You might as well accept the truth that this law that we call God has been established. It's better than anything you know. It works better than any other way and gets better results than anything that man can ever come up with. Just accept the law, accept God as the truth, and live a successful life. Just accept God as the truth, accept the law as the truth, and live a blessed and productive life. It's that simple. You cannot be connected to the wrong thing and then look for the right thing to happen in your life. You can't be connected to the wrong people and look for the right opportunities to come into your life. You can't be connected to the devil and look for God to perform miracles in your life. That would be against the law. That's why right now you see certain people connected with certain people, certain places, certain things, and because that connection is a godly connection, these people are being blessed beyond measure. And then you got people who are connected to the wrong people, connected to the wrong places, connected to the wrong things, and they are reaping or receiving from those bad connections or from those wrong connections. Either way, the law is at work. Either way, God is at work. And you will never change this law that we call God. So if you're connected to the right people, you're connected to the right church, you're connected with the right family, you're connected to the right job, the blessings will flow. If you're not connected to the right things, the right people, the blessings will not flow. That's the law. So don't get mad when you see a person that's got all the godly connections and they're being blessed because of that law, because it's the same law that's causing you not to be blessed because you stay connected to the wrong people, the wrong church, the wrong job, the wrong friends, but you're looking for blessings. You're looking for this law to be broken, and it never will be. So when you look at your life, it's up to you whether you're going to be blessed or not. It's up to you whether you're going to receive miracles or not. It's up to you who you decide to connect with and who you decide not to connect with. It's up to you whether you live a life full of miracles or not. It's up to you whether you live a blessed life or a cursed life. So don't point the finger at nobody saying this person or that person is the reason why you are where you are. Don't even try to point the finger at God because you are where you are in life. What choices did you make? Who did you decide to connect with? Who did you decide to marry? Who did you decide to be friends with? What church did you decide to become a member of? What job did you decide to work? What neighborhood did you decide to live in? The scriptures tell us how to live and tells us things to do and connections to make. And it says, then you will make your way prosperous. Then you will make your way prosperous. You can make your way prosperous, or you can make your way hard. You can make your way productive, or you can make your way unproductive. But one thing is for sure, this law that we call God will never be broken.